Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. We're here with some more NFL DFS picks and lineup advice for tonight's single game showdown slate, Thursday Night Football, Arizona Cardinals, New Orleans Saints. Welcome. I'm Brian Jester, co founder here at Occupy Fantasy. Single game $1 million winner. If you're not familiar with these videos, what we normally do, we go through the injuries on both sides, how they impact the slate, low risk and high risk lineup construction tips, general showdown strategies, everything you need to be profitable on tonight's slate. If you're not already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Get notified when we go live, upload these new videos. We do showdown videos every Monday and Thursday, so you won't want to miss those. We do main slate videos Friday, Saturday. We have a new betting video. NBA just started. We're doing a morning slate preview, so if NBA is your thing, just make sure you're subscribed. You'll get notified when all the videos come out. If you like these videos, give us a thumbs up. Helps the channel. Lets us know that you like them, and we should continue to do these throughout the season, so helps everyone. Any questions? I'll monitor the YouTube channel throughout the day. Comment on this video below. Any questions or thoughts on the slate, we'll happily answer them. If you want in-depth information, answers, conversations, you want to chat with other members of the community, join our Discord server, occupyfantasy.com/discord. That info is in the description below. All right, so let's jump into it. Cardinals and Saints, and just a lengthy injury report for both sides. It's pretty crazy. And honestly, some of the information that I give here may be outdated by the time we get inactives or even some of the practice squad elevations at 4 p.m. Eastern today. I am recording this around 10 a.m. Eastern on Thursday, so things could change. So you have to monitor, check out our daily plug, occupyfantasy.com, our model for more details later today, see how it impacts the slate. But let's talk about what we know now. So I'm just going to pull up the injury report really quickly, right? And you see Saints have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 6 guys out, multiple questionable players. The Cardinals, multiple guys out, multiple guys questionable. So let's just go through it. And I'm going to go back over to DraftKings here. But offensive line injuries, Andres Pete, starting left guard, has been in and out of the lineup. He left last week's game early. He won't play for the Saints. That obviously hurts their offense a bit. And then on the Cardinals side, Rodney Hudson hasn't played much this year, but is a centerpiece of their offensive line, their starting center. He's out once again. And then Justin Pugh, who started last week's game, like Pete on the other side, but didn't finish. He's out this game as well. So down 2 offensive linemen, not great. But what else could we ask for more than a sloppy primetime showdown slate? So offensive line injuries will certainly contribute to that. All right, back here on DraftKings. Starting from the top of the pricing list down, Marquis Brown, if you watched last week's game, went down late. He's out, out probably for at least a month, 6 weeks or more maybe. But he's not going to play tonight. Fortunately for the Cardinals, they do get DeAndre Hopkins back. Suspended the first 6 games of the season. He'll just slide right into what Marquise Brown's role was. Now, if they were both playing, we might have a little bit of concern on how this is going to shake out. But I think we could just pretty much slide him in. Marquise Brown has basically been playing every single snap from one side of the field. The Cardinals have said that D-Hop's ready to roll. He's going to have his full go, full snaps. So I think we can just expect that for him. That makes it a pretty easy 1-for-1. Moving on down, James Conner, their running back, he's questionable. So if you remember, he missed last week. Darrell Williams, the backup, missed last week as well. Williams is out once again tonight. Conner is extremely questionable. I would probably say more doubtful than questionable. Hasn't practiced since he hurt his ribs 2 weeks ago. They said he's a game time decision. That's tough to say. I mean, we have him projected in for now. I would not be shocked if he's out. And we'll know even before the inactives come out. I'm assuming a national reporter will give us the information. But even if not, we'll know by their practice squad elevations at 4 p.m. if they activate someone off the practice squad. Because they do have Benjamin. They have Keontae Ingram as the other guys on the active roster. But if they call it one of these other guys, then we'll know for sure that Conner is out. Speaking of which, if he is out, Eno played all but 9 snaps last week. And I know 50% owned in the classic slate. If you played him, you're probably disappointed with his 9 points or whatever he scored. But just really underperformed the offense did as a whole. But just know that his role is super secure, like stud level secure usage. 15 rushing attempts, 3 targets, all but 9 snaps, like I said. So again, if Connor's out, we can expect Eno to be the workhorse once again. All right. For New Orleans, Michael Thomas is out once again. Jarvis Landry out once again. Fortunately, we've seen what this offense has looked like without them on the field. Chris Olave is expected to be back. Missed last week with the concussion. And we can look back to the Week 5 game when he played, when he started, and the other 2 guys were out. So we'll know pretty much what this offensive rotation looks like. Olave will be the lead dog. Led the league in air yards before he got hurt. They're going to continue to get a ton of opportunity in this offense, especially without those other 2 guys. Marquez Callaway, who is, by the way, one of our underperforming wide receivers this week. So keep that in mind if you're building lineups tonight. Keith Kirkwood, Traquan Smith, these guys will play. Kirkwood is questionable too, but it's going to be Olave, Callaway, Traquan Smith. Where's Traquan? There he is. As the three main wide receivers here in this offense. Yep, we're still going. Normally we're done by injuries at this point in the video, but we are still going. Matt Prater, the kicker, is questionable. Now, they don't have his backup in the player pool on either FanDuel or DraftKings. Hopefully he gets added to Rodrigo Blankenship. They'd have to call him up off the practice squad. Prater is a game-time decision. If he's out, we'll know by 4 p.m. if Blankenship's called up. And it would be borderline disastrous for those of you, or us, who have been playing kickers in Showdown and how well they've been doing lately, if the Arizona kicker's not in the player pool. So if you're interested in that development, maybe go at DraftKings, go at FanDuel on Twitter, send their support some messages, get him added to the player pool. Because God knows how well kickers have been performing and how important they've been and how integral they've been to winning Showdown lineups this year. So keep an eye on that. Just be proactive about it, honestly. After you watch this video, go ask them, see if they can get him added, just in case Prater is out. Other injury that is important, Adam Troutman, tight end for New Orleans, has been splitting snaps with Juwan Johnson. He hurt his hand or his finger. He's out. And Juwan Johnson played a ton of snaps last week, second most routes on the team after Callaway. So Juwan Johnson is going to be a pretty popular value with Adam Troutman out at just $3K on DraftKings. All right, I think that's it. I think that's all the injuries. Let me just make sure here because, yeah, we got a ton. And again, things are going to change. So what we say in this video might be altered a bit by the time we get the inactives and practice squad elevations. So just keep all this, take it all with a grain of salt, keep it in mind. All right, low risk contest, 50-50s, double ups, head-to-heads, beat half the field, double your money. Pretty easy tonight. As far as who we need to play. Kyler Murray, starting quarterback, we're playing him. Alvin Kamara, insane usage the past few weeks since he's been back from his rib injury. Easy play. Andy Dalton, you don't have to play him. Yes, he's a starting quarterback. He will start tonight. But not a very high ceiling guy. High floor in the sense that we'll likely get 10-plus points from him. But, if you leave him out of your low-risk lineup, it's not the worst thing in the world. If Connor plays, that's a very tricky situation. Will he get his normal workload? Probably not. If he's out, it's very easy to play Eno Benjamin because of his workload. So if you're playing low risk, honestly, you want Connor to be out. If you're playing high risk, you want some ambiguity to that situation. Other values. Remember, we try to lock up all the scoring. We try to play all the values. You can play Chris Olave, who's going to be very popular at 7,400. You can play Zach Ertz, who's going to be very popular at 7K. You can play Rondell Moore, who's probably the most popular in this mid-range group at 5,800. Or you can play Juwan Johnson at 3K. All these guys will be extremely popular in all contest types, but especially low risk. So some combination of that plus kickers and defenses is how you get there in low risk. FanDuel, same concept. Let's go back over there. Here, you'll probably have to choose two of the three between Kyler, Kamara, and Dalton. The easy choice is to leave out Dalton from your lineup. That leaves 9,300 per player. If Connor's out, Eno is just 11K. He's an easy plug and play in low risk contest. And then we'll have, if we put in Eno, 8,500. We could play a kicker if we want, a defense, cheap value receivers or tight ends who have increased roles due to injuries. Very easy, low risk, especially if Connor's out. So Connor's the key tonight to low risk contests and how we build the rest of our lineups. Now for high risk, speaking of all those values, we know the field is going to build around them. So 2 easy pivot points for high risk contests tonight. If we go back to DraftKings. And on FanDuel especially, Kyler and Kamara will take up a vast majority of the MVP popularity. So fading one of those guys is the easy way. Or if you just play one of them, just make sure you play a guy that's sub 10% in your flex. That's an easy way to get different. If you think that Olave or Eno or D-Hop or one of these other guys can be the optimal MVP, you'll get major leverage over the field on FanDuel. Now, DraftKings, field is going to build 2 ways. They're going to build those values around Rondell, Juwan Johnson, Ertz, Olave, play that way. And they're going to build mostly balanced. Maybe slight lean towards Arizona. So we're talking 3 players from Arizona, 3 players from New Orleans, 4 players from Arizona, more likely 2 players from New Orleans. What the field is not going to do is build onslaughts, 5 1 stacks. So 5 players from one team, 1 from the opposing team. Because it is a pretty close game. There's values on both sides. And so if you think that New Orleans can lead this game, if you think that Arizona can control this game, or if you just think that, hey, I think Arizona players have a better chance of reaching value than New Orleans, or vice versa, building a 5-1 lineup is extremely different, and you're not really giving up much because you can play a lot of the values. You can take on more ownership by playing a construction that the field doesn't play. If you think, okay, that's crazy, I don't think that's going to get there, it usually doesn't get there, The other way to play it is to pivot off of those values. So if we just look in the range, Chris Olave, 7,400. You could play Taysom Hill. Now, I understand I'm not a Taysom Hill guy, but it's hard to argue with his efficiency. If you look at his scoring, he scored less than 10 points 3 times. He scored more than 10 points twice and more than 35 points once. So if we get some touchdown variance for Taysom Hill, can he outscore Chris Olave? Yes, that's one pivot. Zach Ertz, everyone wants to play him. You could play Traquan Smith. He's going to be half the ownership. Going to get less targets, but maybe he gets the touchdown variance instead of Zach Ertz. Rondale Moore, could play him. There's not many guys in this range outside of the underperforming wide receiver Marquez Callaway. So if we're going to play Callaway over Rondale Moore, easy leverage. Again, half the ownership. You will see Robbie Anderson here. We didn't talk about him. He was traded after being very disgruntled and upset with his employer in last week's game. Already traded to Arizona. They said he will play very limited number of snaps at 5,600. Okay, even if he catches a touchdown, it's going to be very hard for him to crack the optimal lineup. I won't be playing Robbie Anderson tonight just because he won't play enough snaps to matter at that price. If he was way cheaper, sure. At his price, he won't get there. The other popular value we talked about, Juwan Johnson, 3K. A little bit tougher here. But again, it's not like Juwan Johnson is this super productive guy. He hasn't scored more than 10 points in a game this year. So can he be outscored? Yes, easily. A.J. Green runs a decent amount of routes. Shaheed, who was pretty electric on that touchdown run last week, first action he saw on the season. But again, one touch, can he outscore Juwan Johnson? We saw it last week happen. And then maybe you go down to the trash guys if you don't want to play Juwan Johnson. The other option, if you don't want to pivot, just play a line of construction that doesn't use these salary ranges. That's the way to go. So hopefully this helps you build lineups for tonight, depending on the contest that you're playing. If you want more in-depth answers, check out our daily plug. That's posted by 2 or 3 p.m. Eastern. The link is in the description below. Our writer Bismo does a great job. Rankings for every contest type, low risk, high risk, lineup construction tips for not only low risk, but separates out high risk, small field versus large field, 500 players or less, 1,000 players or more, gives you lineup construction tips and strategies, and his overall slate notes goes way more in depth than I can in this video. Again, make sure you subscribe to the channel, get notified when we go live, upload new videos, NBA and NFL videos every single day on this channel. You don't want to miss them. Again, we say this because obviously it helps the channel. More subscribers is great for us, but really it helps you out as well if you like the content, because if you're like me, you forget about videos sometimes. Being subscribed, it pops up right in your feed every time we post a new video. So that's an easy way for you not to miss anything. Thumbs up if you like it. Lets us know to continue doing it. Any questions, comment on the video, join our Discord server. Check out our Occupy model. Rankings with projected ownerships already live. Lineup builders already up running. Everything you need to crush tonight's Showdown slate. So, Brian Jester for Occupy Fantasy. As always, appreciate you listening, and good luck in tonight's Cardinals and Saints Showdown slate.